Okay. It's Memorial Day weekend for our friends down south. So, to all our U.S. listeners, friends, colleagues down there, hope you're playing safe and keeping socially distant from each other, and just but having a great time and celebrating a long weekend. Because Lord knows, in these times and the amount of chaos going on, everyone needs an extra day off. It's necessary for our own sanity.
Hey, and speaking of playing safe, I see your president down there playing some golf, and I got to say, a little shout out to my local golf course here, 1914 Elmhurst, and yes, that is a free T-shirt and a free ad. So
Yeah.
fairways are looking great, greens are coming along, and it's 25 degrees up here, so that's Celsius, and we're having a good time chasing that white ball around. Sore knee, sore shoulder already, so I know I've hit golf season.
Yeah, I know. I haven't swung a club yet. I'm going on my annual golf trip with my three buddies that we do in June, and we sort of go away, stay at. It's kind of we stay at one friend's cabin, and
Perfect.
that guy you host it every 4 years, but you take care of everything other than the green fees, all the meals, the drinks, everything, and it's sort of like.
What courses do you play?
Well, it all depends, but we're gonna be staying up in Victoria Beach, so we'll be doing Grand Pines and one other one. We're not sure which yet. Maybe we should do Elmhurst.
Yeah, and Ivan Coop at Granite Pines, great guy, awesome.
Oh
We're gonna
yeah.
have you. Yeah, yeah, Ivan's super. So that'll be terrific. And while you're shopping for your golf, you better be shopping for your insurance because all the news right now is APIs, how to buy insurance. I mean, COVID's here. We're not going to talk about it today, but the fact is people are buying online. We've said this in earlier shows, and here we go. Big article. Our buddy Graham Haig, who, by the way, excellent golfer.
Yeah, he
I
is.
wouldn't admit that too much to, blows up his ego, but he's a guy can swing a club. Holy cow.
He can put some junk on the ball. I give him a lot of
Yeah.
credit. I've never seen a guy like for just, the average golfer really put some spin on that. He could have been a pitcher in baseball.
I did see him lose his ball doing that too once, but I won't bring that up.
No.
But
No, but
hey,
so he was a part of the data exchange sort of webinar that happened this past week. I wasn't able,
yeah, hopefully people tuned in. Yeah.
but I've read some stuff about it. And, Graham came out with a pretty interesting point of view on this. And he's basically come out, and I'm going to find the quote right here, and I'll read it. And he says, BMS vendors need to move away from third-party rating tools and towards integration with company rating systems, and the sooner the better, says Graham Haig, Vice President of Broker Distribution at Wawanesa. Now, I understand where Graham's going with this. If we're going to go data exchange in the broker agent distribution model through and use BMS systems, let's put it all in there.
Hmm.
And I think that makes sense.
Own it.
Own it all, and let's get it through. But how does that look when you've got to send out the policy to get it rated? Are you putting everything into the BMS system, entering your data in from the client, and then shooting it out to all your insurance partners, or are you doing it one at a time? Because essentially,
Yeah.
the rating tool gives the broker everything, and you can make a choice based on what matters to the client. Now, this speaks to a whole host of issues: automation, efficiency, and consumer experience. And I'm not sure where this leads because I'm
Well, and accuracy.
and
I gotta
accuracy.
say,
Okay,
like, this
that's
is
huge.
where,
Accuracy is huge.
yeah, I gotta think Graham's concerned with the fact that some of this third party stuff is, it's, at a time when technology was, early in the process of determining rating, brokers could walk around some of these issues and sort of spell out why the problem was what it was and the pricing is a little off. But today, we all buy online, everything. And I don't expect Superstore to deliver me something. And then, I look at my statement later and all of a sudden the number is, $200 more. I mean, it sounds excessive, but $20 more. I'm not going to buy that. And they're going to eat it, right? Someone's going to eat it, whether it be the broker, whether it be the insurer, someone's eating these numbers. And, these APIs should fix that. Data exchange should fix that. But the consumer wants it and they want it now. They're used to it. And, here on Thursday, SelectQuote goes public,
Yeah.
generates 360 million US in share income from 18 million shares sold. It's a
$20 a
serious,
share.
serious business.
Serious
We're
business.
talking
But
big numbers.
they also only had, at the time of the IPO, from statements, and I think I read this from Coverager, 79 million in cash and over 500 million in liabilities.
And 10 customers. But those are a good 10
Yeah,
customers.
those are the best 10 customers you've ever wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Oh,
it's a fascinating thing because are you betting on the future or are you betting on what's happening now? And I would say if you're an investor, particularly if you're an institutional investor and you understand the segment, you understand
mhm.
the way insurtech's moving, you've probably done some very good diligence to make that bet, and you've got some other information that you're thinking of that you need to be on this. And I liken a lot of this stuff, like without knowing who put money down and what kind of volumes, particularly on the underwriting
Yeah.
side of it all for the share issuance. You know, betting on things like this is kind of like playing like four hands at the blackjack table, right? You're trying to hedge out, get your best opportunities and figure out. And I'm not much of a gambler. I may have just completely blown the whole purpose of why people do that because I'm not a very good gambler.
I watched you lose and I lost a bunch of money on our local crop here in Canada.
Oh
So yeah, you're a bit of a gambler. I know
yeah,
that.
exactly. I am a gambler, and you got to play a bunch of these in the hopes that a few hit and that the
Yeah.
management is going to be able to adjust, and maybe there's a really good explanation for why there's 500 million in liabilities, and looking at the balance sheet doesn't exactly explain the whole story about what's there. But
Well, and you know what? I was got a couple of dings here on the screen, and yeah, not to interrupt Pete, but like, is it timing, right? Hey, we had an online quoting tool 2005, 2006. We had the URL insurenow.ca. We had quote now. I mean, these are good, solid URLs, good, solid websites built by ThinkShift, local tech marketing company. David Baker just texting me as we speak here. And the thing is, it was just too early. People weren't buying. We were too early to the market. Like, we had home, we had condo, we had life insurance, we had boat insurance, all online. Not e-commerce. It wasn't click buy, but it was pretty good. It was pretty good based on the tools that existed. Yeah, as there's some uptake. Sure, the odd guy clicked on it. I think a buddy from high school clicked on it, called me and complained because his home insurance he had that I shipped him was, $100 more than what the quote read, right? So that's the stuff you get into, right? Back then. Today, we're rating, and to Graham's point about APIs, I mean, we're rating this stuff. The consumer wants accuracy. Our brokers are sitting across the desk from people and can't tell them what their discounts are
yeah,
because of these tools. So Pete, like, what's going on? Why is that?
the hardest part is that they're all doing well, not all of them, but they're all going to move to the black box underwriting, where you're taking data, rate by peril, all the contributing factors that you actually are ranking and rating a scale of loss probabilities that affect the ability that specific residence to have a loss or not, and it spews out a number, and there's no discounts.
But the rating by peril, yeah,
So the rating by peril, but no. So say you're doing something with a client, and we'll just talk personal lines because this is the easiest one, and this is where the
sure.
friction points are with this, is that you get a number at the end. And so your premium is $1,500. Maybe you add a couple endorsements in, sewer backup, a lower glass deductible. Maybe you took some overland water and everything. And all of a sudden, there's the number. Now, the customer says to you, or your client says to you, hey, do I get a claims discount? Do I get a mortgage-free discount? What about I'm over 50? Do I get a discount for that? Seniors seem to get discounts on everything.
Just say yes.
You say, yeah. Well, how do you just say, yeah, it's all in there. It's in the number of the bond. It's all been factored
Yeah,
in.
it's all in the
Well,
box.
where? And
Yeah.
he goes, so we'll see, it says claims-free discount has been applied. Okay, what is it? I don't know. It's in this. That is a friction point in the customer experience. And I think as we hear about user
Hmm.
experience, we
Hmm.
hear about customer experience, we hear about all these journey mappings of customers. I think the industry, if it believes in the point of sale via an agent, broker, website, or some model like that, needs to clean that up, because you wouldn't walk into Best Buy, Walmart, Safeway, whatever, Walgreens, you name it, and look at your receipt and say, hey, where's my discount on this? It said it was on sale. It's on that receipt. And insurance right now is the only industry I can think of where it doesn't show up.
Well, and what's even more confusing is that, if the insurers think that they're helping the broker by not giving them the detail, because there is, like you say, some uh, complicated formulas being used, that it devalues the professional service aspect of being a broker. I mean, I go see my accountant, I get a full breakdown of my year end. Everything's in there. I don't just take the executive summary and look and go, oh, I'm going to pay this much in tax. Okay. And I walk out. Like, I want to know the details, right? And I pay them a fee for those details.
Yeah,
If I pay
that's
my broker,
exactly
I
right.
know he gets commission, and it's probably a pretty good number, then I want to know what they're working for.
Yeah,
How is it working to my advantage by using a third party? And we went on a rant earlier about online sales. Brokers need to look like they know more than the website knows.
yeah,
And if they don't have those type of details, that's a mistake. Are insurers hiding the details because they don't want the broker to conspire with another market, or
yeah,
maybe have their own program of their own that they rate in-house and they compete against other insurers? I know that existed at one time for a number of brokers out there, not so much anymore, but it could come back. And the fact is, we're they're business partners. You're dealing with professionals. If that's the problem, then cut them loose. I mean, if there's brokers out there you can't trust to show what your discounts are, then they shouldn't be your business partners.
yeah. No,
Get real.
exactly.
Like, if
But
there's if they're that slippery, then send them sliding down the hill. Like, goodbye, right? And deal with guys you can trust. And
and
if that's
all,
what is
yeah,
being
makes
said,
me
then
think
let's
of
get
Squid Game
serious.
from Better
Yeah.
Call Saul.
Yeah.
Um, but back to our buddy Graham. I think one of the reasons he's pushing this, and we maybe we need to get him on the podcast to talk about this some more, because he's been on a few things. Maybe it's time we
Just
corral.
a roundup, though. We can only handle them for 15 minutes.
Yeah, that would be a really short one.
Sorry, buddy.
Yeah.
We know you
We'll
listen.
have to bring Cam with him just to keep it interesting, so we don't bludgeon Graham and go after Cam. Um, no, but I think one of the points I think is important from the insurance company side is, as insurance products on the personal line side became more complicated, when particular when they added overland water into the
Yes.
equation, and not every company did it in the same fashion. How those calculations were made in the rating tools made a mess of the overall experience for the broker and agent giving the information, and for the
Mhm.
customer to understand it. Because to get an accurate rate with one company, you had to do something totally different than the other. So in the essence, you were doing the same quoting process two or three times, depending on how many companies you had, so you could get the right number with all your companies who, particularly with overland water, were going to deliver it or provide that product. It was
Mhm.
a nightmare. And if DX straightens that out in a way, then there's value to it. And you know, this becomes a finger pointing game, right? Where the vendors who make the BMSs, the AMSs, they point back at the company saying, well, if you did your calculations like this, we could do it easier. They point back saying, you should be able to integrate it the way we do it because it works for us and that's our rate.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it's a zero sum game. And the people who suffer are the brokers and agents who are paying for the services, and the ones who can't identify with their clients. And eventually, if your client can't trust the professional who is
That's
delivering
right.
the rate, who are they going to
You lose confidence.
trust
A
next?
lack of confidence
Lack
means,
of confidence.
no relationship, right?
Yeah,
And, hey, simple marital advice here, right? Like, keep keep everybody, trusting each other. Because if you don't have that,
yeah,
then all the rest is going to fall apart. And it's same with your broker, right? I
yeah,
mean, if you don't trust them and you think they're going to not benefit you in every way possible to do your business the way you want it done, then there's a good chance they're going to go shopping. And today, there's a lot to pick from.
Yeah.
Clearly, and some brokers are doing a great job of promoting themselves. Others aren't. We've got auto insurers looking at all different ways to sell, even right here in our jurisdiction, where auto insurance has been beat around now for the last year on how to sell it. So, it's a hot topic. You don't want to send the customer out looking at at the Rolodex of insurance options, because it
Yeah.
is massive.
It is
and
massive.
and everybody else out there is going to be just as friendly, have just as good a golf balls, probably Pro V1s.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you've been giving away pinnacles, and they've been taking them because they think that's not so bad.
Or
But
or
we all know, right?
yeah, or you've been giving away a Pro V1, but you put a Pinnacle logo on it,
Well,
right? Because no one knew what it was. It got mixed up. It got mixed up at the factory,
yeah, well,
right?
that's right. Exactly. Until you hit the real deal, then you don't
Yeah.
know the difference, right?
Yeah.
And
It's
that's
I
just
don't know.
it, right? You don't know what you don't know. And if you
Yeah.
didn't ever go shopping for your insurance before, and your broker can't give you a good reason for why your premium is what it is, boy, oh boy, like,
Yeah.
kind of makes you wonder, right? And I guess it's going to come down to a little bit of technology being better than it is today. We're in an awkward phase. This is not going to last long, though, because no one's going to accept it. So
So,
let's get it figured out, and
yeah.
let's get on with life.
And let me put a little spin on this from a regulatory aspect.
Another golf analogy, sure.
Yeah. I don't
Backspin.
have a golf
Okay.
as regulatory. I can't
I
type
played 11 games in
diagram.
12 days. All I think about is golf now. So,
I need your problems. Um, Here's the aspect from the regulatory standpoint. Right now, the hard market has firmly gripped a few sectors, commercial, particularly residential property in terms of
yes.
condos and stuff like that. Insurance regulators are hearing from a lot of people. We haven't talked about it because COVID's taken over so much. But before COVID hit, you
Oh,
could,
yeah. People were getting vocal.
it,
Sure.
it was getting vocal. I know in a certain province that the regulator there was hearing from condo boards on a regular basis about some of the challenges. They weren't even just calling to complain and say take action. They were basically saying, how can you help us? Because this is going to potentially put our condo corporation out of business.
Hmm.
It was that extreme. We're not talking about it right now. But now the regulators have been forced to take some sort of or provide some sort of attention in areas where they didn't have to, other than rates and dealing with the insurance companies. What if it gets worse? What if the hard market really starts penetrating personal lines and we start
Hmm.
seeing significant increases like we have in classes of the commercial market? Now, the regulator is going to wonder, like, now everyone's really paying attention to their insurance and they're saying, well, I don't see this claims free discount. What if the regulator hears about this? How can this company say I'm getting a
Yeah.
discount and they don't show it as a line item of what my discount is?
Hmm.
The last thing you ever want is to drive the regulatory bodies to intervene when they had no reason to. And I think this is a point that in Canada, every province should be, everyone in certain province should be worried about, because I think you could see some activity, some push to make some changes on this. And I don't believe the pushback story would be, well, it's a complicated process based on algorithms and stuff. Well, it's figuring it out somewhere. That line item exists, that discount line exists. You got to show it.
Well, I
And
think that's our next interview then, is Kent Rowe from IBAC, to find out what IBAC's doing.
yeah,
They got data exchange on the table. They're bringing up this stuff,
yeah.
and we're talking about it. So,
let's
Kent, let's get him online,
let's get
and
Ken.
we'll find out
Let's get Pete
what's
Brain
cooking
on too.
here.
Let's get them
Yeah.
both on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. I'm making a note
hey,
of
and when we end here, the next thing people should be tuning in after this weekend is on Thursday. We'll give a little sneak peek of it, but Friday will be our podcast with Elson.
Yeah.
And Pete, what a great person. I mean, she is just aces. This person
Yeah.
knows SEO, she knows SMO. I mean, she talks social marketing better than anyone I've ever
You
heard.
had you hadn't met her
She
before,
can no, I hadn't,
and
and
I've had her on a couple times just to chat about things, and Allison's like this wonderful person who you
oh,
bring
yeah,
in.
she's a great SME to have in our
Yeah,
social media corner,
exactly,
for
and
sure.
energetic, she's engaging, she's done TED Talks, she's super transparent.
Smarter than us,
Yeah, smart that's not hard,
easy.
but yeah, this is a fun one, and she's gonna talk a lot about what's going on with, social media, how you can market yourself during, strange times when the world's turned upside down. So and she's just a fun person to have
Oh,
around.
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so,
lots of great tips there, everyone, so tune it in.
yeah, for sure.
Have a good
Yeah,
week.
yeah, everyone have a good week. We'll be, get ready for the release next week, and,
Right on.
stay safe.
And if anyone's got some pinnacles kicking around they don't like, I mean, I'll pick those up and redeckle them. I'd give you back like, you know, I'll give you one for every four you give me.
Next time we go out with Graham, we'll give him a set of pinnacles and see if you listen to the okay, we gotta call it.
Cut this off.